So, for everyone watching on YouTube, welcome to the show. Tonight we are talking about the Doctor Who 50th. We're going to be discussing what happened in Doctor Who 50th, our reactions. We'll be getting to that very soon. Joy of editing.
Nicola!
We have a Nicola.
Hi there. And yes, before Elsie jumps my throat, I did watch the anniversary. Although there were conspiracies against my watching. There were conspiracies. There were 3 failures in rapid succession, and we almost didn't get to watch it.
The universe.
How many bombs went off?
No, it wasn't bombs. We were watching it down in our living room. We have a PC hooked up to our living room TV, and it goes through a sound system. First, the iPlayer crapped out due to a heavy load. So too many people were trying to watch Doctor Who. After we got it back up and running, the sound system crapped out. Now everything goes through the sound system, so as soon as that turned off, everything turned off. And then when we got the sound system back on, the PC blue screened.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm watching this in America, and I didn't have this much trouble.
I know.
I was
We
watching
managed to get it though.
And apparently the Shade's freaking camera is a XSplit logo.
Of course.
Lovely. So yeah, that was funny. I nearly fell off my chair laughing while Colin turned extremely Scottish and cursed at the computer. Well, when Colin's angry, he defaults to his accent.
Alright, there's Sean.
Oh my god.
If it makes you feel any better, Nicola.
There we go.
I started watching. I was sitting through. I started watching the Doctor Who Ultimate History or Ultimate Guide, waiting up to the frickin' time of the 50th, and then on another window I had a stream of BBC One, which played perfect. It was playing perfect with that whole ballerina Dancing with the Stars fucking show. As soon as the 50th started, the freaking stream crashed, and I had to restart the computer.
Oh!
So I had actually missed the first 5 minutes because I had to restart the computer, and then it was laggy for the first three. I'd say up to the 13-minute mark, it was laggy as hell and skipping, and then finally it went beautiful. Why the fuck did I watch it on BBC fucking .com? I swear.
I don't know.
So,
I kind
John,
of
how are you
barricaded
doing
off.
tonight? Good to have you on the show again.
No, I
It's
just
got to be bad, but surprisingly feeling better than it was. The last day or so, I've been sick as a dog, but then finally this afternoon, I guess I fought whatever was in me finally broke.
So, in other words, a doctor cured you?
I guess! That's
Right.
the only thing I can come up with anyway.
Well, see now, this is for the recording. Alright, let's start this off. So, Nicola is the person who's least passionate about Doctor Who. So, the questions that I've been asking all night, how did you feel? What was your reactions to the episode?
I thought it was rather good. It had a few serious moments, a few funny moments, and one of the best jokes was, "Can you imagine what the Americans would do with this device? Have you seen their movies?"
That one cracked me up.
I loved that line. That line was brilliant. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And yesterday, Colin made me watch that. What was that like recreation thing called?
Oh, an
The
adventure in
Adventures
space
in
and
Time
time.
and
That one,
Space.
yes.
Mm.
He made me watch half of that.
Oh,
Oh,
god.
dear.
I haven't seen that, I've been wanting to see that. I heard it's really good.
Oh, it's amazing. It is
Oh,
amazing.
It was fantastic.
I'm
It's
going to say
beautiful.
right now, everyone knows
It was
me.
fantastic, but Colin made me turn off Assassin's Creed Black Flag to watch it, so I wasn't best happy.
I'm going to say this, Doctor Who, The Adventures in Time and Space. Everyone knows me. I'm a fairly butch guy. I'm a man's man. I'm the beer drinking, chain smoking, fucking sports watching kind of guy. I cried like a little fucking girl watching that.
Oh, damn!
Like I balled up, in full tears by the end of that fucking thing. It was it was so freaking heartwarming and touching. It literally made me bawl like a little baby.
It was.
Like, and then Susie had the same reaction, and me and Susie had to have a fucking call together and just like almost cyber hug each other. Like, oh my god, this is so beautiful.
I could not stop crying for like 20 minutes. it was that good.
Okay.
Oh god.
It's heartbreaking. It's just heartbreaking. It honestly, I almost want to say that after watching Adventure in Space and Time, the 50th almost seemed dull to me because they did such an amazing job on it.
Maybe it's a good thing I haven't seen it yet. Otherwise, I probably would have.
It was like trying to follow up It was like you went from this emotional roller coaster to something that should have been an emotional roller coaster, but it couldn't compare to the just. Oh. The only way I can explain it is the guy who played the first Doctor in Adventures of Time and Space did an amazing job.
Oh yeah,
I felt like I was watching the first Doctor all over again, but it felt like you were watching your grandfather. It felt like you were watching your grandfather, and he felt like your grandfather, and it just brought up memories of like your childhood. I can't even freaking articulate verbally how my feelings were. But I'm just going to say this. As a fucking man's man, I cried like a little fucking girl.
Yes, folks, the Tin Man does have a heart.
Yeah. I was sitting there crying. Just like, I don't want him to go either.
No, but it is an amazing piece of art. It really is. So anybody who's not seen it yet, please, for the love of God, watch it.
I'm gonna go look it up. I'm gonna look for it as soon as I'm done. As soon as I get the chance, probably in the next 44 hours or so.
John, if you know if I said I cried during it, you know it's gonna freaking break your heart. Get your wife and have her very close to you so you can just hug her.
Oh damn!
But back to the Doctor Who 50th. So Nicola, you liked it. It was great.
I enjoyed it.
I'm going to skip a few of the questions I've been asking all the callers, but I'm going to ask this: what was the highlight?
Now there's the thought. I think when he's sitting staring at the big red button, and you could see him just getting ready to accept his fate, that he'd be hated to make greater men.
That was good.
Oh,
that was
beautiful.
Rather powerful.
That was.
And
I was actually very surprised by that scene. Just seeing Hurt standing there, just he's like, you know what, the future's in good hands. I'm ready to accept what I have to do.
Yeah, you could just see it. Like he'd even he has this very old man kind of solid face, but you just see it in his eyes just kind of going like it was like almost like watching your father at your wedding, like just that light in the eyes just kind of light up and just go, everything's gonna be good, I've done my job correct.
It was the line, great men are forged in fire, it's the privilege of lesser men to light the flame. I thought that was a very good line.
Yeah,
very powerful.
If anything, I think the fact that the other two doctors came in there and kind of fracked that up, I actually almost think does it more of a detriment than it does a help. But they thankfully made up for it in the end.
True, I suppose.
So, and what would be your least favorite moment in the whole series, in the whole episode?
What?
What would be your least favorite? Like, least thing, the thing that made you go into nerd rage?
I would have liked to have seen a wee bit more than flashes of the other doctors, because they had lookalikes lined up and all we got was flashes. And then the last shot where he comes out of the TARDIS, half of them looked rotoscoped. look like they've been ripped out of
They-
old episodes and coloured. It's just like,
Well, I have a strange feeling that's what they did, but
you had lookalikes for the movement shots. It's like, why do that?
alright. And when it comes down to who would have been your dream doctor, who would have been the doctor you would have killed to see in this episode?
Oh, I can't comment on that. I have no clue. Yeah. Czar really wants a female doctor.
I think
I could
I'm
see
not
a
going to say a
female
female doctor couldn't do the job. I think a female actress could do a great job in the character. I just don't feel.
I
don't
think it would
fit-
be
I
an
don't think it would
excellent
fit.
alternate one.
I don't think it would fit.
You know how occasionally they kind of cross into alternate realities and alternate timelines? I think that would make a fantastic crossover.
I think for a one-off story, I think you could do
Yeah.
something like that. That I could see happening. I don't think you can make a full season out of it, unfortunately. At least not right
Probably
now.
not. I think it would probably be maybe as one of the Christmas specials, or like the big long episodes, or maybe a two-parter or something like that.
Oh,
You couldn't
God.
make a whole series out of it because the many fans would rage.
Let them do an episode where the doctor regenerates into a female ginger.
Yeah.
That would be
The thing I can
ultimate
picture,
awesome.
the thing I can picture would be
regeneration.
after the generation.
And
The
then,
regeneration.
then,
comes
then
up.
at the end of the episode, this female ginger ends up getting killed and regenerates into the next.
No, see, my thought is this was an image that came to my head while we were discussing this once with Czar. After it regenerates, pops up its woman, pats the chest, and goes, "Those are new. I like them."
Well, if the doctor has all the memories of his future, of all his other incarnations, you have to figure any man who woke up one day with a set of tits would go, "Yeah, I can get used to these." Then he looked at it and just go, "Oh, fuck." Alright,
Testing,
so
testing. Can anyone
Shades,
hear anything?
what's your thoughts on this episode?
Yes. Wait.
Okay.
We can hear Dennis at last. There we go.
Alright, finally,
Bear
we
with
got
me a
this.
moment. I'm currently trying to figure out. Ah!
Yeah.
1 second.
Dennis is coming to us.
I think your
remote
profile
tonight, so
picture
he's working
sums
on
up your feelings on the stream right now.
Yes,
Just,
quite
damn you.
definitely.
Dennis is coming in
Is this any
remote tonight.
better?
Yes.
A little bit.
Okay, apologies. I'm basically eating the microphone at the moment.
I
So
actually have no video on you.
yeah, well, there's a reason for that. Okay, I'm at my sister and my brother-in-law's house. I bought a webcam and I bought a headset just for tonight's show because they don't own one, and the camera blue screened and crashed the computer 3 times.
Oh God.
Ay.
Okay, I gotta ask, what operating system, what Windows did they run?
Windows 7,
That's
64
surprising.
bit. I know,
that's
yeah,
it.
you'd expect it to be Windows 8 or something.
Now the next question is, what brand of camera did you buy?
The fucking worst kind. It's ironically enough, it's called Trust. It's a Trust brand camera, so I don't think I'll be trusting them again anytime soon.
I always go Logitech. Always
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, funnily enough, that's what my friend said when she got me these headsets. Said I had to get a Logitech. And we all know how well that turned out in a few episodes.
Well, basically, this was like a 2-minute dash into the nearest store to pick something up. So, I mean, it was cheap as chips and everything, but still, it's like, well, you get what you pay for, don't you?
I was gonna say, you get what you pay
Good
for.
God, I've been bent over the table in the worst way. So anyway, yeah,
Alright,
I
so
think
Dennis,
everyone's
we'll go-
had
see-
a good
see now you get-
conversation.
We'll go to you next, and then Shades. So overall reactions.
Who, me?
Yes, Dennis. What is your
I
overall reactions of the episode?
Loved it. I loved it. I think they did a good job. Everybody's had been very vocal about their complaints, and that's only because we love it. I think it was nice to finally address the whole Queen Elizabeth thing that was just left hanging there. Wait, he married Queen Elizabeth? What the fuck was that about? Thank you for addressing that.
Yeah.
And you know what? Thank you for addressing that. Well, it didn't seem phoned in. It actually felt natural, and it felt like a good extension of the 10 character. Again, I think the interaction between 10 and 11 was really well. I wanted John Hurt to be a doctor. I wanted him to have a personality other than John Hurt. And you know what? He had a good personality. I think he was an okay doctor. You know? I think he did okay. One thing that really, really bugged me, though, was how the fuck did they get from the end of the last episode to there? Did we miss something? There was no fucking explanation about how we got from trapped in the Doctor's timeline, Madame Vastra, Jenny, you know, the whole everything that happened.
Yeah.
What did we just forget? That is this going to end up being something that didn't actually happen because the Doctor's in a dream or something? What is going on? Or is it just shitty storytelling?
I know, I thought that as well. It's just like, how the fuck is Clara in a classroom and then going back? Like, what the hell?
Also, the fact that the classroom was... Okay, the opening titles and the fact that it was Cold Hill School, the same set from the original series and the same set from Remembrance of the Daleks, that was awesome. I approved. You know. And all the other nods to, like, dude, they had a photo of Chameleon up. That was kind of interesting, if horrific. But, yeah, I've not seen anything, you know, to hate about it, really. I am interested to see where they take the show in the future. It is a shame that they didn't have more of the old guys, you know, like, you know, the old doctors and everything, as other people have said, but I get what they're saying in that they want to set up more for the future. And like Ark was right, it's basically it's more of a trailer for the next season rather than a celebration of the stuff that went before. The ending with all the Doctors together was great. It could have been better, but I'll take what I can get. You know? Nice to see the Zygons finally, that David Tennant got to play with them, because they were kind of the whole reason he wanted to be the Doctor. I liked also the whole I don't want to go line being improved on, because, let's be honest, everyone hated I don't want to go, including David Tennant.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
Actually,
everyone fucking hated him.
I'll go back to talking about the Adventures of Space and Time. When the guy playing the first Doctor in that movie said, "I don't want to go," my heart dropped.
This is the thing, I was working on Thursday and I walked through the door just as he looks up and sees Matt Smith, and I'm like, well, shit, I really gotta watch this now, don't I? So that's something I'm going to probably be watching tomorrow. Basically, it's been a busy day. I've had to buy equipment and everything. I literally just finished watching the show on record before I jumped on here. I did say that it would be a bit unpredictable and they'd do a lot of bait and switch, and they did.
Alright, so the final question I've been asking everybody, who would have been your dream Doctor? What would have been the Doctor to show up in this that would have made everything holy in the universe?
I'm assuming it has to be an actor that's already alive.
No, just fantasy in general.
Oh, okay. John Pertwee would have been interesting, because no one mentions John Pertwee, but even though it's a different actor, I think let's have the guy who played the first Doctor in the documentary. That would have been interesting, and I don't think William Hartnell's family would have bitched about it.
No.
You know, it's
they
funny,
would
it's,
not
Dennis,
have bitched
it's
about
funny
it.
You said that. It's funny you said that, because I thought about this like when I was like letting it stew and the whole episode stew. I thought that would be a fucking amazing ending. If, like, remember how they said I've been thinking about this for centuries?
Yeah.
It would have been. I thought of like I was thinking of like an awesome line for that would have been if David Tennant just went. It basically just kind of said, "I've been thinking about this since the beginning," and it just showed him, like the first Doctor, basically doing like something, you know, scientifically, and basically starting the whole chain reaction.
Yeah, that would have been fantastic. And there's a hint of that with the fact that you see the first Doctor there. But, you know, at the end of the day, I'm going to accept a hint over nothing at all. You know? It was better than nothing. A lot of people have said they didn't hold much hope for the 50th. It was a lot better than what it could have been.
Oh God,
Oh,
yes.
yeah,
Yes.
it could have been a fifth
you know.
Doctor.
Everyone's already said what there is to say about Christopher Eccleston not wanting to play Bob. Okay, fair enough. Whatever, man. You know?
His
I'll
loss.
turn down a free paycheck.
This is the thing about Christopher Eccleston. I know I said it earlier on the earlier videos, but I don't understand why he wouldn't do it. I mean, isn't playing the... I mean, I'm a Yankee, I'm a New Yorker, I'm American. I don't understand, you know, the whole culture of significance in London and England and the UK, but... Isn't playing the Doctor almost like being asked to play James Bond? Isn't it like the mecca of an actor's career? Isn't it like...
Well, that's the thing. Some people consider themselves better than that sort of thing, and they don't want to play James Bond. They don't want to play the Doctor. They want to do a little job, and then they want to move on with their quote-unquote career. But they, you know, they have an attitude about it. And Eccleston kind of strikes me as an actor who is very easy to provoke, or it's like, you know, I don't know, maybe this is completely wrong, but he did a good job, and he wants to move on. Doctor Who has a lot of baggage. Now, because, you know, rabid fan base, and once you've done the role, you're in a family. And I remember seeing many times over that Christopher Eccleston didn't really want to be a part of, say, the convention circuit or, you know, fandom or anything like that. He just wanted to do this one job and get on with his life. I understand that. But, again, this is what you're signing up for.
You can't just have one or the other. You can't just have it, you know, one way. If you're going to join it, if you're going to sign up for this role, you have to take everything that comes with it. That's like any other celebrity out there. You know what? I have a word name for people like that. Douchebag.
Yeah, but Christopher Eccleston just really
douche.
wanted a big coat. He did. That was one of his conditions. He wanted to wear a big coat.
So wait, you're saying that Christopher Eccleston wanted Colin Baker's outfit, but Colin Baker wanted Christopher Eccleston out. Oh my lord, time travel.
Christopher Eccleston?
It all makes sense. Yeah, I'm sorry. In case people haven't noticed,
levels, it's getting confusing.
I flub my words sometimes.
Yeah, it was essentially he went to the costume designer and went, "Can I have a big coat? A big flappy coat."
I want a big fluffy coat with freaking fur trim and, you know, let's make it leather so at least it looks somewhat badass.
This probably explains why Eccleston's only other known role is in G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Well, that and Gone in 60 Seconds.
Oh, yeah, that too, but
Yeah.
still.
I also enjoy that
I kind of
movie.
notice a pattern
He's
here.
the villain.
Fair enough.
He's the Carpenter. You know, one of the most credible villains ever. He makes people's coffins and then he kills them and puts them in them. Yeah, it actually doesn't make sense when you think about it.
So, Shades.
It's a fun movie, though.
Shades, I know you did the live riffing earlier tonight, and I'm sorry I did not watch the live riffing because I was busy setting this up, and and I was busy watching the episode itself. But what is your reactions? What is your thoughts?
Well, I even looking back now and thinking about and hearing all of the comments that everyone has made, I really don't have too many major complaints. I kind of knew what we were getting going into this. Like, we knew that there were only going to be 3, maybe 4 doctors involved, so I wasn't expecting this huge celebration. But I expected, knowing Stephen Moffat, that we were going to get a good story, at least a good self-contained story. And that's, even if it wasn't self-contained, really, when you look at the grand scheme of things, I like what he did with this. He basically gave us an explanation of how the Doctor has become the way he is in the modern era. He did it in a way that was, and he also opened up the door. One thing I think a lot of people tend to not notice is that by doing this, Moffat has opened the floodgates for many explanations down the road. Some of them may be cop-outs, but I think there's a lot of it where you can explain away some of the upcoming changes that are going to happen in, future regenerations, because we know this is going to go beyond 12, 13 regenerations now.
Well,
we know this ain't going away anytime
that
soon.
is Time Lord lore that basically a doctor only gets 12 regenerations.
Yeah, you know they're going to have to find a way to write that out, to cop that out. So by doing this, in a way, he's kind of created an opening for that. And plus, I get the feeling that we're going to be starting to see a season down the road where Gallifrey is going to be coming back.
Oh, it definitely will be coming back.
This next season, the Peter season, it's going to be the Doctor trying to reprive or almost regenerate Gallifrey, get him out of the time vortex, and get him back into civilization. Which also means another weird freaking scenario, because we know in the end of times, the Master basically took out the Time Lords and locked the time. So if we get Gallifrey back, we actually can get the Master back.
Yeah. And who knows what'll happen when he do. I mean, we could get another regeneration for the Master and, actually get somebody who feels like the Master again. I'm sorry. I know some people like Johnson, but I honestly don't see him as the Master.
He wasn't a classic Master, but he was definitely a war-torn, crazy, this guy who's been put through a roller coaster of mental fucking torment character. And I liked him as the way they played him. It was it based on the traditional sense? No, but if you think about it, if he was really punished the way the Time Lords would have punished him and they would have locked him into that little scenario, that's kind of how he would be. He would be completely eccentrically crazy.
In some respects, I understand why they made him that way. I just think it was way too far of a departure when you compare him to the Doctor, who, when you think about the burden he's had to carry and everything he's had to go through, he came out a changed man, certainly, but he still felt like the Doctor. And when you see Eccleston, he still looked and felt like the Doctor. Whereas the Master, he looked like a completely new person. Like, if you had changed the name and he's not the Master and made him a complete one-off villain, I would have been perfectly okay with that. I would be like, yeah, that's fine with me. Then it would have been an okay story. But because it was the Master, it just didn't feel the same. I mean, at least make it feel like he truly was conniving and manipulative and not just cuckoo.
No, he was cuckoo for Time Lord puffs, but it was still not a bad freaking. It wasn't a
Time
bad
Lord
scenario.
puffs. That sounds delicious. Can I have some?
Like,
they come in chocolate.
Good. My question is, what do you pour on that? Because we all know that Time Lords don't have cows.
You cover it in tasty chocolate.
Yeah.
Do you get little toy sonic screwdrivers?
Yeah. But John, the question is, what was your favorite scene in the whole 50th episode?
Favorite scene? There's a lot for me to go over on that one, honestly. I'm gonna pick one that I think a lot of people don't really see. Is we mentioned earlier about Hurt at the getting ready to push the big button. Just before that, when Clara is going up and talking to him, that scene where he's just kind of sitting there and he's kind of seeing like, this is what I'm going to become. This is what my decision turns these people out, turns myself to be. That look of like, maybe this isn't such a bad idea after all. And the line he says is like, look at what my regret has saved. I thought that line was spot on, and it just sounds like something the Doctor would say.
Agreed.
It was great. And the follow-up question is, what put you into complete and total nerd rage? What scene made you just scream at the TV?
I'm gonna agree with a lot of the people there. I wouldn't say nerd rage, but I think the biggest I think the one misstep they made was putting Billie Piper in there, in any capacity. There was really, I can see what they were trying to do, but there was really no need for her to be there. Like, you could have put anybody in that role, and it would have made no difference whatsoever.
It was pure fan appreciation.
It was pure fan pandering, and it was badly done. At the very least, if you're going to put her in there, set up a scene where she interacts with Tennant. I don't know who it was who said it earlier.
I said the same thing in an earlier interview. I said I would have dreamed to have actually eventually Tennant be able to see Rose, Bad Wolf Rose, as herself, the one woman he has loved in his entire life. and get that reaction shot of those two, look like him staring in her eyes, just going, "Oh my God, it's you." Even if it's not the real her, it's still like you're seeing your lost love image for the first time in centuries, and you just get that starry-eyed look.
Yeah, you have Tennant get this reaction like, "Wait, what are you?" And of course, Bad Wolf Rose just sitting there going, "Oh yes, I do look familiar, don't I?" Just kind of give this like nonchalant reaction to it. That would have been perfect.
Yeah, and then
that would have settled everything.
And Tennant's just like, you see his dreams and his hopes just rise, and his expression like, "Oh my God, it's you. You're back.
Mm-hmm.
I can touch you. I can feel you. I can love you." And then basically have the whole thing just kind of go, "It's just an illusion."
Yeah, that realization, that would have been some great drama right there. That would have been perfect. I think that was a misstep that they could have fixed.
All right, and the final question I'm asking everyone: what dream doctor would you have had in this? What fantasy doctor? I don't care, living, dead. What incarnation of doctor would have been the dream doctor for you?
I have been thinking about this for a while. Like I've been hearing you ask everybody on this. Honestly, if there's one doctor that I think actually could have gotten more screen time, I'm going to say McGann. I would have loved to have seen an interaction with all four of them. I mean, we know McGann was involved in this whole project. He did the mini-sode. Have a scene where they all kind of, where they run into McGann and kind of talk to him about like how he, kind of get an idea of what he was thinking when he made this decision. You could have had, a small scene with that, and that would have really opened up some eyes and probably brought some truce. Like just the feeling of all that. Like, I think that would have done a lot for it.
And it would have been great, like, connection between, old Who and new Who, and kind of, like, combined all the stories nice, snug together.
Yeah, if you couldn't get Eccleston, get McGann and just kind of create that gap. That would have been, or create that bridge.
I think most classic Who fans would have been happy even if Eccleston refused to join. I think most people would have been happy to see the 8th Doctor back, at least in a full role.
Yeah, and plus that would have lend more credence to McGann, being an official doctor, because even to this day, some people don't want to consider McGann in canon, even because the only thing he's ever truly been involved with, as far as the main, Whoverse, is the movie. I mean, obviously he's done the audio books, the audio stuff, and all that, but outside of that, he's only ever had one on-screen appearance until now.
I gotta admit, we all saw the prequel mini-sode.
And
it was beautiful. Just like connecting all of his companions, his history, and bringing it into the storyline just made everything canon, and it made a nice, tight loop and made everything nice and snug together.
I think it's what kind of prevented me from being as disappointed or pissed off about a lot of the same complaints that a lot of people had, like seeing them use McGann and kind of turn him into Hurt. I thought that actually resolved a lot of the issues, and at the same time opened up a couple of doorways. A lot of people have been saying, like, how do you explain Smith turning into Capaldi? Well, here's a theory I threw out at the end of my stream earlier, is that because it wasn't the same kind of regeneration that the Doctor normally undergoes, it was changed.
It was
something different
by that society.
It was done by a different means than he normally is, just whenever he's about to die. Here, not only was he about to die, but he chose how he regenerated. We don't know what could have happened because of that. That could have opened up the door to any number of possibilities.
Plus, you've also got, at the end of the day, half human, which, with McGann showing up at the end of this, say what you like, is canon, and I'll say it till the end of time. I think the Doctor being half human is not actually a bad idea. It makes perfect sense.
Well, in that theory, though, because we always know the Doctor as being 100%, Time Lord Gallifreyan, would it be interesting to throw it out there that sometime in some kind of future episode, you would eventually get a storyline where you actually show the Doctor almost like giving away, like almost accepting his humanity and taking in like the soul of a human? That way,
I think we already had that with that David Tennant one, didn't we?
Because we saw with what's her name, the Scottish companion. We saw that a human can become half Time Lord. So is it so far of a stretch to believe that a Time Lord could become half half human.
With how much they've changed history and changed the timelines and done all this stuff, and with how often the Doctor interacts with humans and the way things have turned out, it's very well possible that maybe during a regeneration or two, all that humanity that he's been around has affected him. I could easily see it happening.
All right. Well, let's bring up the beautiful, sexy, the coolest, lovely fiance of mine, Blackbird Chick. I know she's been squealing since the beginning, and I kept shutting her up because I wanted to do the call-ins. So, love,
No.
open mic. What is your thoughts?
I turned into a 6-year-old when I was watching it. I was trying to be the grown-up sitting watching it, thinking, right, I've caught up. I love this show now. I am a Whovian. Let's see where this goes. And then every so often I was just like, oh, that's really cool. But and then there'd just be moments where I'd just go, yee! And just kind of do. I liked where they were going with the story. I will say I was not expecting it really to be about the Time War. I was hoping it was my theory that I'd said previously, that it was like how the Doctor became the Doctor, but it was kind of in a way, because it's kind of finding out who the War Doctor really was, and it was all part of the Time War. I wanted to like the moment Rose being in there, but it's just the same as everything else. She didn't really fit in. It was cool, her being there. But there was absolutely no need, really. Like everybody else has said, is like if she had interacted with David, but for the parts to give that dramatic effect to it, that would have made a heart wrench in that bit, because of the interaction they have had previously, of course. That would have been an amazing little thing to put in the story there. John Hurt, I think, is an amazing actor. Amazing. I can't fault him. He was given that part, and I just think he played an amazing Doctor. I really do. Clara was just kind of in the background, but it wasn't focused on her. It wasn't meant to be. So, and I don't really enjoy Clara as a companion, really, to be perfectly honest.
Blasphemy.
But and she hasn't grown.
No better than Rose.
She hasn't grown on me like, say, Donna or Amy. Because those two are fantastic. But like I said, it wasn't meant to be focused on Clara. It was meant to be focusing on what the fuck happened in the Time War. And you could tell with like the paintings in the gallery that, of course, that was only probably done for the fact that it will be being shown in movie theaters in 3D. But that was still a pretty cool concept, to have the Zygons actually implanted in the pictures and breaking out of them.
Yeah, I honestly didn't see that coming.
No, that was very clever. Very, very clever. David Tennant's part, of course, I thought was fucking hilarious. he's my favourite Doctor. I just find him so funny. And just that whole part of, whoa, you another wife? Really? Okay. And just him and Matt interacting with each other. It was like watching a couple of best friends at school being the class clowns. It was so brilliant to watch those two.
One thing I would actually kind of throw in for something that would have been like a dream segment for that whole thing is when you find out that Queen Elizabeth, it's actually the Doctor's wife. I would have loved to see River Song thrown in there somewhere, so she just had that freaking woman's reaction, like, you have another one? Like, you cheating bastard, how many do you have?
Right?
Not in fairness, I don't know if River Song's the sort of person who complains so much. I mean,
They should join in.
There's just be a funny fucking scenario, just having her like being a companion, like being in that scenario and finding out that fucking the Doctor had another wife, and it's just like, really? You have not told me about this. Who is
I now know what I'm going to draw from my stream on Monday.
But, I think this should have came up.
No, she just walks in the background going, spoilers! Oh wait, that's on me! Or something like that.
Well, we know he's been married in the past. I mean, he had a granddaughter at the very beginning of the series, so we know he was married at one time.
Well, that brings up a good point. Do you think the granddaughter in the first series might have been freaking Queen Elizabeth's? We don't know where this fucking girl came from.
I was just kind of finding at one point, I thought, could Clara be Susan? I don't know. And just some parallel universe, I thought Clara was Susan or something.
But Cena, we got to get to the riffing. We got to get to the riffing soon. So, what was your favorite scene?
Favorite scene has to be with the door. when they were trying to figure out how to get out of there, and Matt Smith writing on the wall, and David just walking about, and then John just saw the screwdriver on the door, and then Clara just bursts in. Like, did nobody try the door?
Took that whole scene of them trying to figure out how to disintegrate the door. I made it entirely pointless.
Yes,
but hilarious.
It was so funny.
All right, and worst scene. What was the thing that made your nerd rage just skyrocket?
I didn't really particularly enjoy the kind of to Queen Elizabeth I bit. It was just, I got where they were going with it. Like, it was meant to be confusing, like, which one's a Zygon and that. It was just like, okay, I get the joke, right? Go on. I want to know what happens with the fucking Time War. Move on. That was it. That little bit was kind of, I don't know. It just didn't get me going. And the point with Rose being used the way she was, I get what they were doing, but there was just no point.
All right. And the final question is, of course, what Dream Doctor?
I would say Christopher Eccleston, because he's the one that got me into it. But I would have loved to have seen Peter Davison in that. Just to have the comedy with him and David Tennant in there. That would have been funny. Just trying to get some humor in there, just like the whole, yes, we are related now, you know. But it didn't. Kind of
like they did in that one little special.
Yeah. It would have been funny to see.
It could have made some great, like, meta jokes if, like, he showed up and it was, like, him asking questions about Elizabeth being his wife.
And then just saying, don't you have a daughter as well? And wait a minute, isn't she, you know. They could have played that off very well. And I like Peter Davis.
And everyone who don't know, I think Peter Davis is actually David Tennant's wife's uncle, isn't it? Right?
No. Peter Davison is David Tennant's father-in-law.
Father-in-law. So that could have just made so many great freaking little freaking meta jokes.
Yeah.
Wibbly wobbly.
That would have been so funny.
Timey-wimey.
Like,
I don't know where he gets it from.
I thought you were married to somebody else.
Yeah, that would have been so funny, but overall it was fucking brilliant. And seeing Peter Capaldi's eyes on the screen!
Oh, those fucking eyes.
That was actually a highlight for me. I'll admit that was a highlight for me. Like, when it's like, the Time Lords are in the council, and everyone who knows Trial of the Time Lords knows that frickin' scene, how the Time Lords really hate the Doctor. They hate the Doctor. They hate what he does. And then it's like three Time Lords at the same... 3 Doctors show up at the same moment. It's like, great, it's my worst nightmare. And then it's like... And then they do what they're doing, they start doing it, and you're like, oh my god, all 3 Doctors are working together to stop fucking... to do this. And then next thing you know, you just see them popping up one by one. And it's like, wait, we got 12. Oh, wait, 13. And you just see the cut of the eyes. You're just like...
Just the...
He just had this look like, I'm gonna fuck you up.
It's like, yeah, you think those guys were bad? You don't have fucking shit on me.
That is a Scotsman on a Saturday night. I can't wait to see him.
And I'm saying,
you know what? I don't expect him to be swearing much, but
I've said it once tonight. I'm going to say it 100 times. When Peter finally becomes an official Doctor and after his regeneration, I am going to be pissed if he doesn't just if he doesn't regenerate, it just gets the fucking line. Hi, I'm the fucking Doctor.
And sadly, I don't see that happening, but I do expect... I know. Yeah, but I do expect him to have an attitude. I'm kind of hoping he has a more aggressive nature as opposed to the other Doctors. We've had enough, kid. We had enough like goofy doctors. We need a little more. A little more
I
aggressive.
think we need to get back to the old days of him being like your grumpy grandfather, like the guy who's like just hates the youth.
No,
Yeah,
if there's one line I want him to have when he comes out, I just want him to say, "I'm not a fucking ginger again."
Yes, that would be amazing. What color is my hair? Oh, fucking bloody
Damn it.
Christ, I'm not a ginger.
He says, "Wait a minute, I'm a Scottish, but I'm not a ginger."
How the fucking bloody hell does this happen?
That would be
Why am I
brilliant.
talking with an English accent now?
I want him to be
And
Scottish.
that's the
and
one thing I
want-
did notice. Like, in that one clip that he did speak, Peter was using his English accent. So it does show that he is going to be doing it with, just like Tenet, he's going to be doing it with an English. And I'm disappointed because I would have loved to have him do his real accent because I just love that voice.
And it's not like there's no precedent for them using a Scottish accent. Look at McCoy, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And hell, actually,
Even
Sylvester
cut out
McCoy is
the
a perfect
swearing,
example of
just
what kind of
like, oh,
doctor
yeah,
he needs to
bloody
be.
fucking wench.
Yes.
Even David used his Scottish accent in the Queen Victoria episode.
This really has become this Sylvester McCoy show, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Has anyone seen The Fish Doctor?
Yes, I watched it earlier today, and that
I have
was
not.
funny as hell.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Good.
Now,
Something
I
else
almost
to watch
have to
tomorrow.
ask the question, do you really think that they actually maybe have actually used the real doctors underneath the freaking tarps? Just as like an inside joke?
I think so.
It would be just hilarious
That
if
would
we found that out to be accurate, that it was really like those guys underneath those tarps.
Could have been.
But
Nice
that's
twist.
about enough time for fucking tonight. That's enough time for tonight for this recorded segment of the show. I'd like to
Yes.
thank everybody who's watching us on YouTube for joining us. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to check us out on snnradio.blogspot.com, of course, rvtentertainment.com, and of course, thezerolover.com. We got to get to some live riffing if you're privileged to fucking actually be watching this live. So, night everyone.